Well, hello there, viewer friends. My name is Red Kingman, welcoming you to Red's Place, the morning hangout for coffee, conversation, and fun. Usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I'm not too lazy. Today, it's opinion time. The link for the article that I'll be commenting on can be found in the notes below. The story comes from the Drudge Report. It's a story from the Associated Press, written by Mr. Jesse J. Holland. And the headline for this article is, National Geographic acknowledges past racist coverage. What? You mean all those years of showing me all those bare-chested black African titties? That was racist? And you mean showing me all those guys in their loincloths with their spears? That was racist? No, that's not racist. That was just good journalism. Well, of course it was racist. And my question is, what took place at the National Geographic to make them take this drastic step? You know, to go in this whole new direction. You know? I mean, either the racist owner or editor must have died, or they got a new one, or maybe the National Geographic was sold to another company that has a whole different outlook on things. I don't know, but something drastic has happened. Now, I haven't read the article. We'll read it together, but it just makes me wonder what took place. Because you know, and let's just be honest, if a white guy was still in charge, a racist white guy was still in charge, it'd be business as usual. They'd be like, hey, Bill, you got any pictures of bare-chested black titties for the May issue? But see, it's different. Things are different there. So let's go ahead and read the article by Jesse Holland. It's titled, National Geographic Acknowledges Past Racist Coverage. And it reads, National Geographic acknowledged on Monday, that was yesterday, that it covered the world through a racist lens for generations, with its magazine portrayals of bare-breasted women and naive brown-skinned tribesmen as savage, unsophisticated, and unintelligent. Quote, we had to own our story and move beyond it, end quote, says editor-in-chief, what did I say? Susan Goldberg. She told that to the Associated Press in an interview about the yellow-bordered magazine's April issue, which is devoted to race. So, first thing, what did I tell you? Something drastic happened. They have a female editor-in-chief. She's probably the first in this magazine's history, okay? And as such, you know, women are more sensitive than men. You know, yeah, they think about the bottom line, but they also think about, you know, content. And clearly she's thinking about the content. Not only because she has breasts, but the fact that it's a little racist. I mean, you know, how late did they stop showing the bare-breasted women? What, like 1990 or something? Which would be really disgraceful. I'm sure the article will touch on that. Let's continue. National Geographic, the second thing I wanted to talk about was this April issue that they're talking about. It does show two people on the front, and it's the caption is black and white. So, yes, it is going to talk about race. And I know the story of these two young girls. One girl is presumably a white girl, but she does have Negro features. She's got white hair, kind of white skin, but kind of a Negro nose. And then the black girl, kind of light skin. And she looks like she has some white in her. Like I said, I know the story. You should read the article. It's pretty cool. Anyway, to continue on with the story by Jesse J. Holland, he writes, National Geographic first published its magazines in 1888. An investigation conducted last fall by University of Virginia photography historian John Edwin Mason showed that until 1970, wow, I think black people got the right to vote in 1969. So then the next year, National Geographic thought, we better stop showing the tribesmen. 1970. It virtually ignored people of color in the United States who were not either domestics or laborers. But it did reinforce repeatedly the idea that people of color from foreign lands were exotics, famously and frequently unclothed, happy hunters, noble savages, you know, every type of cliche. For example, in a 1916 article about Australia, the caption on a photo of two Aboriginal people read, quote, "South Australian blackfellows. These savages rank lowest in intelligence of all human beings." In addition, National Geographic perpetuated the cliche of native people fascinated by technology and overloaded the magazine with pictures of beautiful Pacific Island women. That's interesting. And they did that. On the one hand, you had pictures of beautiful Pacific Island women, and on the other hand, you had pictures of black naked titties. Beautiful Pacific Island women, black naked titties. Island women, naked titties. I mean, it sold magazines. Oh. This examination comes as other media organizations are also casting a critical eye on their past. The New York Times recently admitted that most of its obituaries chronicled the lives of white men and began publishing obituaries of famous women in its overlooked section. I see that Negroes are still overlooked. And finally, in National Geographic's April issue, Goldberg, who identified herself as National Geographic's, I was right again, their first woman and first Jewish editor, wrote a letter titled, quote, "For decades, our coverage was racist. To rise above our past, we must acknowledge it," end quote. She says, "I knew when we looked back there would be some storytelling that we obviously would never do today, that we don't do, and we're not proud of. But it seemed to me if we want to credibly talk about race, we better look and see how we talked about race." So I say, let's give a round of applause to the brand new editor of the National Geographic, the first woman editor and the first Jewish editor, Miss Goldberg. Susan Goldberg. Very nice. And I believe that should do it for this little installment of Red's Place.